If they passed a tax on golf memberships, you would probably at your resorts pass that along to your members, right? You wouldn't have just absorbed it.
It sort of depends on the market, not necessarily.
I think this reporter is slowly beginning to realize that Donald Trump does not know what a tariff is. Trump held an unhinged rally in Nevada last night where he was slurring his way through sentences. He was genuinely standing on stage screaming, and after that he decided that he wasn't done. He then did an interview with a local news station titled KTNV Channel 13 Las Vegas, and this reporter does a really good job at exposing Trump's inability to answer a question in a straightforward manner, especially when it pertains to the economy, without deflecting or dodging or attacking or just going down his list of pre-written dialogue catchphrases, which is what we see in this clip. And interestingly enough, this video only has 2,700 views, so we are giving you an exclusive look at a Donald Trump interview gone wrong. Make sure you leave a like to help boost the message, and let's jump right in. So what I want you to notice about this clip is that Donald Trump is asked a technical economic question. It's not that complicated, but it is more technical than he is usually used to answering, and he completely dodges it by going down his list of pre-written catchphrases.
Let me ask you this. Once you take that revenue out of the federal budget, how are you going to replace that?
We're going to have tremendous growth. We're going to have, drill, baby, drill. We have more liquid gold under our feet than anybody else, and we're going to be charging countries that have been ripping us off for years with tariffs. And the tariffs will make us, we'll have money like we've never had before. We're going to charge countries that it's a one-way street. For many, many years it's been that way. In fact, I did a lot of it with China. I charged them hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes, and we had no inflation, essentially no inflation.
So this confirms that Trump doesn't know what a tariff is. And in his answer before this, Trump says that when he gets into office, he is going to lower interest rates to help the American people, which implies that he thinks he has some sort of direct control over the Federal Reserve and over interest rates. He does not understand the fundamental mechanisms at play, and that gets exposed when he's asked about tariffs in a second. But also, the reporter asked a very specific question, and Trump's answer was, well, we'll see tremendous growth. We'll drill, baby, drill.
But we're going to have countries that have been hurting us and ripping us for years, taking advantage of us on trade and everything else. They're going to pay tariffs. And, the word tariff sort of, in some people, and I say not very smart people, but in some people's minds, tariff is a dirty word. It's not a dirty word. To me, it's the most beautiful word there is. It's not going to raise your, inflation. It's not going to do anything. All it's going to do is get you even. So we have a tremendous deficit under Biden-Harris, or Harris-Biden, however you want to figure it. We're losing $2 trillion a year.
So that was an absolute word salad, and none of us are saying that tariffs are inherently evil. Trump is trying to say that Democrats think tariff is a bad word. Tariffs do have their use. You can use them to disincentivize other countries from engaging in certain actions, but you do that by making their prices more expensive so American citizens are less likely to buy those products, and when Americans buy those products less, it hurts the country in, say, China, for example. So that makes it directly more costly for American citizens.
With the tariffs, we can get that number down to a very manageable number. Even ultimately, we can break it even, and it's going to generate tremendous growth because rather than paying the tariffs, there is no tariff if you build your plant in the United States, like the auto workers. The auto workers are going to be out of business. We're not going to have any auto workers anymore. It's going to all go through China and other countries, including Mexico, by the way. And we charge tariffs. We put tariffs on those cars. They're not going to be able to sell them, and therefore they're wasting their time in building the plant. But we'll say, build the plant over here. If you build that plant over here, there's no tariff.
Do you worry, though, sir, that if you put tariffs on those foreign goods, that prices will increase, and that'll wipe out any advantage of your no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security?
What it's going to actually do is take away the profit that these countries are making. This is just eating into. They're going to still make plenty, but they're not going to make the kind of money they've made over the last 40 years. For 40 years, you take a look. Mexico is making $230 billion deficit we have.
I think this reporter is slowly beginning to realize that Donald Trump does not know what a tariff is. He is finding out in real time that Trump is a dumbass.
Mexico. And they're going to make much less and maybe break even. But we have to do that because it's not even sustainable. That's why $35 trillion in debt, the United States, we're going to actually start paying off debt. And we're going to also drill. We're going to use our resource. Again, we have more liquid oil. We have more liquid gold, let's call it, under our feet than any country in the world, more than Saudi Arabia. Believe it or not, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia.
Okay, so I had to skip forward because Trump just rambled for 3 minutes straight about random stuff that had nothing to do with the question. But now, the reporter presses once more and actually gives a very good analogy. He compares it to Donald Trump's golf clubs. Watch this brilliant question. Watch the way Donald Trump can't answer it.
But those foreign countries paying those tariffs, won't they pass those along? If they passed a tax on golf memberships, you would probably at your resorts pass that along to your members, right? You wouldn't have just absorbed it.
It sort of depends on the market, not necessarily. You look like you might be a golfer, actually, but not really necessarily.
Not a good one, sir.
Not a good one. There aren't too many good ones around, I'll tell you. But no, not really. I think that you're going to find, and I think when we do it, and different countries also will be tariffed differently. You know, there are some that make tremendous margins on us. We have countries, I won't go into it now, but we have countries that are charging us 200% and 250 and 300%, and we charge them nothing.